It's big dog season, and you can't stay still because you want it. Talk that talk, George. You still scraping your plate because you're hungry. Talk that talk.
Last night, we reported on the troubling rise in suicide deaths among young Black Americans. Tonight, we explore one of the drivers of that crisis, a shortage of mental health providers. Special correspondent Fred DeSam Lazaro has this report from Chicago, part of our Race Matters coverage. And a warning, this story discusses topics of suicide that some may find disturbing.
Feeling like you're not the regular type of person, it could shift your mind into really dark places. And I was, 9, 10, just like, I don't even want to be here anymore because I just didn't.
You thought about ending your life?
Yes.
When Noah Boynton was growing up on Chicago's South Side, he had trouble brushing off the teasing he faced at school. He had a condition that affected how he ran and the appearance of his leg.
That first semester.
Sharon Morgan, Boynton's single mother and a teacher herself, initially thought the taunts were mostly harmless. But later she received a call from the mother of her son's best friend.
He went home and was like, "Ma, Noah's having these thoughts." And I just remember the night me and my mom were sitting crying together because it was time that I actually told her how I was feeling. I didn't want to be gone, but I just couldn't take it anymore, and it gets to that point.
He started therapy, but in 2022, Boynton's grandfather, Morgan's dad, died at the age of 87.
He was so good with my son. It was the things, he gave the things that I couldn't.
A lot of people don't grow up with that father figure in their life to show them just how to become a man. He was that guy for me in the end. Losing him was, in a sense, we both lost a father in that way.
Morgan started to see more troubling signs in her son, including increased isolation. She decided to seek help specifically from a Black male therapist.
Black men handle emotions differently, and I wanted someone who could understand how Noah was feeling and help him navigate through that.
A kid or a client, right? They don't care what you know until they know that you care.
They found Dwayne Smith, a licensed counselor. When he first met Noah Boynton, the two talked only about basketball, before slowly getting into conversations about feeling and emotions.
He understands, he gets it. His story is similar to anyone I know. You know, it's just things like that make it easier to...
There are things you don't have to explain.
Exactly. It's a lot of things that you don't have to say because they already get it.
It's definitely a big deal. It does matter. I think it brings a level of comfort, because one of the things that we all have in common, particularly of the African American community, is, we know some of the struggles, we know some of the biases. We all have had these encounters, being misunderstood, being labeled.
Smith works in schools, runs a summer program, and provides therapy largely to clients who live on Chicago's south and west sides, where many of the city's Black residents live.
It's a lot of work, there's a lot of need, and there's not enough people.
Experts say there is a lack of Black mental health professionals across the country, despite a growing demand for such services. In 2012, the city of Chicago closed half its public mental health clinics, mostly ones located on the South Side. By 2020, according to one analysis, the provider-to-population ratio in some areas was about 1/10 of the national rate. Officials have announced plans to reopen at least one clinic and expand services elsewhere, but
there's still a great deal of work to do in order to ensure that those who are in need and at risk are receiving the support that could ultimately save their life.
University of Chicago professor Janelle Goodwill has studied the rise in suicide deaths among the city's Black residents, including youth.
When I speak with families who have already lost their child, or families who are currently living with the reality that their child is at risk for suicide, one of the main questions I'm asked is, how do I find a therapist? How do I find a clinician? How do I find a Black clinician in this area? And so I know that that's something that is really impacting so many families. And so there's a great need to ensure that there's enough providers available to service all those who are in need.
Cyberbullying that they've been dealing with is something.
In 2020, licensed clinical social worker Kamisha Jones started Sister Afia Community Care. It provides free therapy specifically for Black women and girls, a population that's seen one of the biggest increases in suicide both nationally and in Chicago. Jones, who's dealt with her own mental health issues, says her clients rarely face just one kind of stressor.
If a Black woman were to come to me and she's like, you know, I'm taking care of my children, I'm also taking care of my parents, and I just feel really stressed and stretched really thin because of all these things that I'm juggling, I would automatically get that. Everything that we've been through in this country and we're still here is powerful, but all the things that we're growing through to still exist in this society is really, really difficult.
That, Jones says, is partly why it's so important to get more Black providers into the field. One barrier is licensure requirements. A 2022 report found that 84% of white people who took the licensed clinical social worker exam passed on their first try. For Black applicants, that rate was just 45%, and only 57% of Black applicants ever passed the test. So last year, the Illinois legislature passed a law allowing an alternative for obtaining a license, completing an additional 3,000 hours of supervised practice.
With where things are at right now with mental health in our communities and in this country, the more that we can open it up for people who really want to do this work, I think is a huge asset.
The effects of the change won't be seen for a while, but there are already calls to expand alternatives to other mental health professions. On the South Side, Noah Boynton, who followed his late grandfather, an Olympic boxer, into the ring, believes therapy after his death prevented him from taking the same path as some of his peers.
At first, when he passed, it was like nothing matters anymore. It's like, I don't know what to do. It's just you feel lost a lot. And when you feel lost like that, a lot of times demons find you. If I didn't get that help as fast as I did, I would have probably tried to jump in the streets or tried to be something that I'm not, because it helps you, it covers that up a little bit. It helps mask it.
Today, Noah Boynton is happy. He just graduated from high school and is enjoying summer. He's getting ready for his first year at Morehouse College in the fall. He wants to become an entrepreneur, maybe build his own clothing brand. But he says he continues to work on himself.
The mental health battle is not something that's going to end. It's just something that you have to continuously want to win. It's not going to ever really be over.
And as this crisis continues, he hopes sharing his story will encourage others to find the help they need. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Fred DeSan-Lazaro in Chicago.
And Fred's reporting is a partnership with the Undertold Stories Project at the University of St. Thomas in Minnesota.
Good morning. Today is Saturday. It is August 17th. The year is 2024. This month is flying by, but we will soon be in September. I wanted to get back to this video series I did about the high rate of Black male teenagers and suicide rate in this country and how it has exploded. Unfortunately, I personally have had friends and family members to commit suicide. All Black men that, when I look back on these circumstances, I never understood why these men chose to end their lives. I never understood it. For the most part, they seemed like their lives were okay. One had just purchased a brand new house out in South Fulton County. This was back in the 90s. Handsome, attractive guy. We had a pool party at my house. I'll never forget it. We had a pool party that Sunday. We were all in the pool hanging out, cooking food, laughing, a group of friends. We all just enjoying life. Everything seemed great. We were all excited about his new house. The next morning they found him, his mother found him hanging inside his home. And nobody never understood why that boy committed suicide. We were just all very lost about this. What took place in his mind? What kind of depression was he going through? What was he going through? Because we didn't see it. Sometimes, and that's the thing about suicide that concerns me, particularly with black folks, because we tend to be in denial about the mental health crisis going on in our communities. It's been going on for years. We've ignored it. We pretend it doesn't exist. We rely too much on Jesus, faith, God, and religion to resolve our mental health issues. I've seen it in my family. I've seen it with my friends. We don't know how to go get, let me mute this phone before it starts going crazy. We don't know how to go get the proper help. I'm a strong proponent that black people, men and women, should seek therapists who look like us. I've had therapists, I've had mental health therapists over the years, and I've made sure to only go to people who look like me. I'm not stupid. What can a white man or white woman help assist me as a black gay man? What can they do for me? Nothing. That's how I feel. I don't waste my time with them folks. Someone else I know went to go see some crazy white woman, and I was like, okay, why do you waste your time with this crazy white woman? Why would a black man go see a white woman therapist? What do you hope to gain from that experience? And what did they gain from it? More chaos and confusion. And I just, why are you seeing this crazy white woman? Before they got away from her crazy ass and saw somebody, a black man who could assist him because they understand who you are and what you're going through. This shouldn't take a rocket science to figure this out. But as we all know, common sense ain't too common today. And when you take a teenager and put them in black America, I wouldn't want to grow up as a teenager today with social media in a black community. Y'all, it's horrible out there for these kids today. It's horrible out there for me today. Shit, I'm 54 years of age. I can't tolerate these ignorant niggas. I could imagine being forced to go to a school in an urban community and deal with what is happening in these schools today. I couldn't imagine it. I can imagine there's a lot of weight, mental stress, agony that these kids are going through dealing with the issues in these schools today. They probably don't feel like they have nowhere to turn to. And they have to walk into that environment every day, and deal with those other students and the horrible shit that's going on. We can't act like we don't know this shit ain't happening. Y'all cannot be that naive to what's going on in these schools today. Everybody I know who was a school teacher or who worked in a school teaching environment as a teacher in these urban schools got out of that shit after a couple of years. Everybody, people I thought would survive in that teaching in these urban schools, they no longer doing that. They're doing something completely different. They had to leave those schools. So what about those poor kids that have to go through that environment? The public schools are crap. They're horrible places for our kids today. In that last video, I made some comments about single parents that some people got pissed about. I don't know why. Yeah, I'm 54 years of age. I would not want to be a single parent today, and I wouldn't want to raise. It's hard enough raising these two dogs. I just got to chasing Vanity all over this yard out here before I did this video. I said, let me take them out before I sit down. That mutt ran all over this fucking yard. Since I'm the only person to take their asses out. I had to chase their ass down. Normally I take her on the leash. Call myself being nice. I let her run around, and she ran all over that damn yard. I was talking about, okay, them coyotes gonna get your ass, and that's gonna be the end of that. Because I'm not going in the woods looking for your ass. When them coyotes snatch your ass up, it's a wrap. Rest in peace, Ginger. That's all I can say as they eat her ass. That's all I can do. I'm not going in the woods for her ass. But however, I made some comments and people got upset. Now, you all, we know that we know these women are not prepared to adequately raise these boys today. We know this. It don't take a rocket science to figure that out. These women who are having these children and these children's fathers are nowhere to be found and not involved in these boys' lives, these women are not prepared for what these kids are going through in these schools. They can't help them. So why do they continue to do this over and over again? I don't understand it. And it has nothing to do with poverty, because I know a lot of women who make good money, who went out and had children by themselves, and they're struggling with these boys. And they live in $1 million houses. And they're going through sheer hell with their boys, particularly. It's a rough word out there for black folks today. We want to deny. I cannot believe the denial that we live in when it comes to racism, black men, teenagers. When we look at what the black male experiencing in this country, some of us are just in denial about it. I used to be in denial about it. I'm not anymore. I know what the world was like out there for black men. I've been through it all. So you see me sitting in my house. I'll just sit here in the house, have some coffee, do my YouTube video, and go about my business. I stay away from a lot of drama, because what's the point? You know, I could have parties over here, cookouts, people over here, a whole bunch of shit going on. For what? For all the drama that's going to come with it? It ain't worth the headache for me. I tend to stay away from people. We live in a vicious world today. And these kids, unfortunately, have to go out there into that world every day. I'm self-employed, y'all. In order to get through my door, I have to invite. In order to get in my house, I have to invite you in here. People just don't show up. This is not Walmart. You just don't walk through the door without me knowing you're coming over here. This is not so if the people I deal with, I select to deal with them. And once I find out you fucking crazy, I will block and delete your heads in a heartbeat so quick. You're not going to drive me crazy. But unfortunately, these younger kids don't have that option to block and delete these students, the environments that they have to go into to survive in. They can't block and delete these ignorant ass students that they have to see on a daily basis. They can't block and delete the environment that they have to go in to live. I could not imagine being a teenager in an urban setting today, or anywhere for that matter, especially a black one. Because you catch it either in the urban settings, dealing with these folks in the inner city, or in the suburban setting, you're still gonna catch hell. It's just not easy for black folks, particularly black men. I think black women get a little bit easier. I could be wrong though. I'm not a black woman. I can tell you that. I don't know. They seem to have more success in life because the journey seems to be a little bit more easier for them. A little bit. I didn't say a lot. Black boys catch hell. Either they're trying to get you into a gang, or it's all a bunch of crazy shit. There's a ton of peer pressure, drugs. It's so much going on. Even when I was in high school, back in the 80s, that was so many years ago. No, 40 years ago. That'd be the math. 40 years ago. Yeah, 40 years ago. I could imagine being in the environment today that these kids have to go through. And then having parents who really don't understand, but that might not understand the crisis they go into, and not prepared to get them the adequate help that they need. I'm a firm believer that these kids need to have a father involved in their lives. Black boys need to have a male figure in their lives. Why people have made the decision to have these kids without marriage. Now that we all know marriages do fail, but they're not even attempting a marriage. They're just having a baby. I just ever told you, I know from women living in $1 million houses who didn't have children. Take care. I got plenty of them. They had children in the past few years in these expensive ass houses, women that I know. By me, and I'm thinking, what was that all about? Nobody's getting married. How many kids can you have? How many spread all over the city? It just makes you wonder. I know quite a few guys who have women, kids all over the place. What's the point? Are you going to be an active, involved role model in these kids' lives? Why are these women allowing these men to impregnate them, knowing these niggas ain't going to be around there? I don't get it. What is the point of this? This is a disaster for those kids. But we're in denial about this. It's complete denial. And that's what's causing these suicide rates to be so damn high. It is a very rough world out there. Social media has made it even worse. I couldn't imagine it. These kids need help. They need the psychiatric help. There are limited resources out there. We all know what's going on out there. We know. But I want to finish that discussion about that because some people got upset about some of the stuff. I don't know why y'all get upset about it. I mean, everybody was known for the past 40 plus years that these parents, these children growing up in a home, it's very. And then somebody made the comment about me and some decisions I made. What I did as a grown adult and ended up getting in trouble with the law ain't got nothing to do with my parents. My parents raised me. I knew better. But what I did as a grown man, I was not a child going to jail, and I was a grown ass man when I got arrested and went to jail and went to prison. A adult. Nothing to do with my parents. Good Lord, y'all some bad ignorant. And y'all defend this single parent mess. That's the thing that gets on my nerves. But listen, I got a ton of friends, all men, who are still having issues in their 20s and 30s because how they grew up with just their mom. A lot of these, it's unfortunate, but a lot of these guys didn't know who their daddy was, or they knew he was, but he just was not involved in their lives, period. And it had an impact on their lives, even now. You know, a huge impact. I was grateful my father was there. But like I said, I take full responsibility for the things I did in my life that got me into trouble. Anything that took place in my life that had nothing to do with my mother and father had to do with me and my decisions, stuff that I made. So y'all quit saying, oh, why you grew up in it. Well, that had nothing to do with them. That was my decision. Hello, ignorant niggas. Sometimes dealing with black folk, you just want to slap their ass. But anyway, I'm about to give me some breakfast. I'm hungry. I've had some, the last few weeks, I've had some serious issues with my hips and pain. And I finally had to go see some specialists. They gave me some medicine I had to take with food. And I was going to cook breakfast. I ain't about to cook shit. I'm about to run up the street, give me some breakfast from this restaurant up the street, and then come back here, eat that, and take my pills and lay down. I'm going to chill out today. I feel 10,000% better today. They gave me some medicine yesterday, some prednisone and something else. I took it yesterday. I feel a whole lot better. I'm going to run this stuff over the next 5 days. I had inflammation in my hips and glutes and legs, and I don't know what it came from. Got an idea. But it gave me some medicine. Hopefully that'll clear all this inflammation out, and I do feel a lot better today. I mean, seriously. Yesterday I had to take 6 prednisones and 2 of these other pills. I gotta take it. I need to get on up here, but it's 11 o'clock. So let me complete this. I can go get this food, take these pills, and sit here and get my day started. I got some other stuff I need to do. It's hot out there now, but I'm gonna go pick up this breakfast. If you like my videos, click like. Y'all, please don't forget to click like and share my videos. I don't really say that anymore. I need to say that at the beginning and start of my videos. Click like, share, comment, and give me your opinions and thoughts about this stuff. Why are these kids? Why is the suicide rate skyrocketing for these young black boys? What's going on? It's the community that we live in. That's what's going on. There are some problems that we get to deal with. But anyway, let me go get me some breakfast. Today is Saturday, August 17th. The year is 2024. I look forward to reading y'all comments. I'm out. Y'all have a great Saturday. I'm out of here. Bye.